Good morning, everyone. I am your facilitator for the day, and I will be talking to you all about design thinking. Uh, Basically, when I start off the session, the first half is going to be, the first few minutes, I will tell you a little about myself. I'm sure Sir has already told. And after that, I'll be taking the session forward. And when I say I'm going to be talking about design thinking, I will be introducing you all to the topic of design thinking with examples and why this topic is very important. I will not be taking you through the exact steps of how to go about design thinking because that is a little more complex. So I will be introducing you to the concept of design thinking. So, like I said, before I start off, let me tell you a little about myself. And I request everyone to put yourself on mute. So this has been my journey so far. Um, on the screen, you can see my journey in the form of footsteps. I did my engineering from BMS College of Engineering in Biotechnology from Bangalore. And further, I went on to Singapore, where I did my master's in technopreneurship and innovation. Further, we had an immersion program. Uh, Please put yourself on mute. The ones who are not on mute. Yes. So, yes, further, I went on to US at Stanford University. We had the same program, which is Masters in Technopreneurship and Innovation. There we got to visit a lot of companies like Google, Facebook, YouTube, and Cisco, and Intel, and so many other companies. We got to interact with these companies and live a day along with the people who work in these companies, and it was a great experience. And further, we had to present our final project at the New York Entrepreneurship Forum, where we had a lot of investors, angel investors who had come, and we had to present our project in front of them. And that was a brilliant experience that I carry with me. And after that, I came back to Singapore and I worked in Singapore for a company called Caterspot for about 6 months. And then I came back to India and started my company. So my company is called Caters in Food Tech Private Limited. Uh, so basically, Caters in is nothing but bulk delivery of food, like how you can book on Swiggy for, say, food for one person or two people or even five for that matter. Say you're at home and then you just want to order food, you do it on Swiggy. But for us, it's all bulk orders. We take a minimum order of 30 and up to any thousands. We have done n number of orders for big companies, conferences, schools, and colleges. And while I was working on Caters In, I got another idea to start off InnovSmart training and development. So at InnovSmart, we offer training programs on entrepreneurship, design thinking, and on the same grounds like innovation and all these topics for children, where we call it kidpreneurship, for youths, where we call it youthpreneurship, and for professionals, which we call it as just professional training under InnovSmart. And further, as the journey went forward, I still run my company. At the same time, I am a faculty at the Jain School of Design, where I handle strategic innovation and design. There is a Masters of Design course in strategic innovation. So I take up this course at Jain Design School. So let's go into the topic now. So I first want to give you all examples of how you can, understand design thinking. So what is this? What do you see on the screen? What is this? Can anybody answer what this is? You can just unmute yourself and tell what this is.
Water bottle?
Yes. Okay. Thank you, Samya. Yeah. So
Water
most of,
bottle.
yeah, yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Yes. Okay. So when you ask what is this, the first answer is water bottle. Now, when I ask what is this, I think most of you would say these are also water bottles, just different kinds of water bottles. And then
Mm,
when I
uh,
ask you what
mm.
is this, you say it is still a water bottle, but a different kind of water bottle. The only difference between all of these three things is that there is a change in the way it looks. But a person, if he had to make a different kind of a water bottle, he can't define what I asked. He can't define this image as just a water bottle. He would have defined it as a little more broader perspective, in a very broader way, to call that, or to further innovate on that. Because when you just sit back and think, hey, I want to come up with a new water bottle, you already have a preconceived notion of how a water bottle looks. You already know that a water bottle that you have seen, maybe you have seen Bisleri water bottles, you have seen smart water bottles, you might have seen all the, the flasks kind of water bottles and all that. You already have a preconceived notion in your head that a water bottle looks in a certain way. But if you want to further innovate on existing products, as a design thinker, you don't call it water bottle, you define it in a broader way and you call it a liquid container. Because when you call that a liquid container, it broadens your perspective. Now, in your third standard in school, you would have learned different kinds of matters, that is solid, liquid, and air, right? So when you say liquid, now you associate that, okay, liquid flows in any direction, it takes up the shape of any container that it is put in. So now, why can't I make different kinds of containers to contain this liquid, right? So that is when your mind opens up to further go ahead with innovation. And that is how, when someone asks me what is this, I would rather say this is a liquid container than call it just a water bottle. So again, over here, you see on the left, there is one kind of water bottle where the nozzle is on the top. Now, the image on the right, someone thought the nozzle is a little extra and it is out of the frame. So why not contain the nozzle within the frame itself? So what they did, they made another kind of a square water bottle, but now you can, the nozzle is not outside, it is fitted inside. So now it just looks like a small book. Now you can just fit it in your bag in between your books and you can carry it anywhere. Every time someone is trying to come up with an innovative product, they try to look beyond. They try to look a little further than what they can just see. Now, I think now, since I have already given one example, now if I ask you what is this, would any of you be able to tell me what this is in a more broader perspective? Anybody? Writing tool. Yes, thank you, Rakshita. So you can call this a writing instrument or a writing tool. And when you call this a writing instrument, what happens? If I say, hey, come, let's go and design a new pen, you already have a preconceived notion of how a pen looks like. But now, when I call it a writing instrument, it can broaden your perspective. You will say that now a writing instrument can be a pen, it can be a pencil, it can be a feather, it can also be, say, a brush with paint, right? It can be a lot of other things. So, when you call that a writing instrument, your mind broadens up. You will be able to think in so many different angles than just stick to just one thing, right? So now let me define
Rather than a
what
pen.
you.
And it is a web based and it is web based and we move this LMS in our say institute or university website and we create a username and password for every user and that is a exactly person having the username and password can therefore log in easily at a sensitive right? So it is a web based and facilitated anytime, any place, any page access to learning content. So what the flexibility comes when to have the person understand about learning.
Sorry for the inconvenience. I thought Sir was trying to say something. Anyways, what is design thinking? Let me define what is design thinking for all of you. Basically, design thinking in a very simple term, you can say it is using a designer's toolkit to find ideas and solve problems. Very simple. You are just going to use a designer's toolkit to find ideas and solve problems. So broadly, when you say design thinking, it is a human-centered approach to solving problems and finding innovative solutions. At the end of the day, the products or the things that you are making are for a particular user, right? And the user who is going to buy this is mainly a human being. Even if it is for a pet, it's a human being who is going to say that, hey, my pet needs a certain item, and he's going to buy it. So at the end of it, any product, any business that you're going to form, or any service that you are providing, it is for a human. So design thinking is a human-centered approach. That is, it makes sure that whatever product or whatever innovation that you are coming up with is targeted at the human, keeping the human in mind, right? So now I have an example to give for all of you. Please watch this video.
एक दिन हमारे गांव में किसी ने नहाने का सावर रख दिया। हमारे आधे गांव ने पानी पी लिया और एक शहर वाले का नहाना अभी खत्म ना हुआ।
I hope the video was visible to all of you. So why I showed this video was because, did you see how the video has been made, how this ad has been made? The ad has been made in such a way that it creates an emotion. It brings out an emotion. You develop some empathy at that very moment. When you watch this video, you feel, hey, I should not waste water. Maybe for that very second, you feel that I should not waste water. And you might go back and waste water later. But at that very moment, it is bringing out an emotion. Why did someone make an ad in such a way to bring out an emotion? Because when an emotion is triggered, it creates an impact on the brain. So that is where your human-centered approach comes into picture. Every time we talk about human-centered approach, it has to bring about an emotion or has to create an impact on the human brain. So this ad is one of the best examples that I like to show when I talk about design thinking. Before, in back in the days when we had ads like washing powder Nirma. So this was a song. So now everybody knows which song this is, right? But then now the ads that are coming, they're all trying to create an impact. They're all trying to bring about emotions. We have seen a lot of these ads. Let's talk about one of the Swiggy ads that I have seen. There's a grandpa and there's a grandma sitting at home watching TV, and the grandpa says, although the grandpa is diabetic, what happens is the grandma says you cannot eat sweets, but then he's craving for sweets, and what he does, he opens the Swiggy app, he orders just one jamun, and the doorbell rings, he goes to the door, he takes the jamun, he eats it at the doorstep, he comes back and he smiles and he just sits back in the hall watching TV with his wife. And his wife just looks at him thinking, hey, why is he so happy? He got what he wanted. Did you see that very small emotion of happiness that created an impact? So that is where design thinking is used. Design thinking is used to create an impact on the human mind, and that is why we call it human-centered approach. So now, with design thinking, you will be able to go from making people want things to making things people want. I repeat, by using design thinking, you will be able to go from making people want things to making things people want. When you're going to make things that people want, then you have already won, right? You have already been able to establish your own market. So what happens is, let's talk about, say, smartwatches. Smartwatches was not something that we wanted, but someone made it, and now we want it. Now everybody wants to have a smartwatch. Now everybody wants to count the steps that they have. I mean, that they take every day. Now, again, before people would go walking on the roads, they would go walking in a park, but then later they probably, found something like a treadmill. Now everybody wants. So they are making things people want. Alexa was something that was not even like required. It was not something that we wanted. But when somebody made it, now we want it. So people are making things that people want. There are designers, there are innovators who are making different kinds of products, different kinds of services that people want now. Swiggy or Zomato or Uber, these were companies we had not even thought of. We never thought that we would require something like this. But now when it came, now we all want the services. Now we all want these products. Why? That is because people, especially the innovators or entrepreneurs, they're all thinking of things, keeping humans in mind and keeping a human-centered approach towards making new things, right? So now, customer kind of requirements have always changed. Back in 2001, most of you might have all been very small kids back in 2001. Bangalore had only Safina Plaza. Safina Plaza is the one that is at the almost towards the entrance of, just behind the entrance of Commercial Street. But today we have n number of malls. Why? How is it that someone thought of malls? That is where your retail design came into picture. Then your customer experience design changed. Today we talk about customer experience everywhere. You go to an Apple store has been designed in such a way that the customer experience is of utmost importance. I will give you an example of that as well. When you talk about customer experience, Amazon focuses on customer experience. All these service platforms talk about customer experience. Forget about these things. You can also talk about a product that you buy. When you buy a product, now if you have an issue with your product, how the company responds to your issues is again your customer experience. Now today, there is a whole new subject on customer experience. There is UI UX design, that is user experience design. Now there is a whole subject on this matter. Before we had simple refrigerators. You keep the vegetables, you keep your boxes, your food, it will cool, that is it. Today we have smart refrigerators. Who thought of it? Who even thought that we require something like a smart refrigerator which can even interact with us? Today, like while I'm coming back home from my work or something, I can just command on my phone for the AC to be switched on in my room. These are all smart products that are coming up. Watches in the 90s or early 2000s was only about design. Hey, I got a new Titan watch. I got a new HMT watch, right? It was all about design. It was like the way it looked, or the new color, or a new shape and all that. But today we all want watches which can do more than just showing time. Today we want watches which can count steps, which can tell us our ECG rates. It can tell us what is our heart rate. It can even take calls on the watch, right? A lot of these things. Now let us talk about a kitchen. Now when you go to a kitchen, you all, when your mom is cooking something, she says, take this vessel and keep it on the kitchen platform. Why do you call it a kitchen platform? Why is it called a working platform? When you call it a platform, don't you think a platform means something straight? But actually, if you think, just close your eyes and think at the level at which you knead a dough, because when you have to knead a dough, your hands are much down. But at the level at which you use a mixer is much different, right? A mixer is kept at a higher level, but when you knead a dough, it is kept at a lower level. Your hands are kept at a lower level. If you're able to think of this, then you call it a working surface. When you call it a working surface, there can be staggering, right? There can be staggering of the kitchen surface now. Instead of calling a platform, when you call it a platform, in the kitchen, there is only straight platforms. So today, design thinkers are able to call a kitchen as a kitchen surface, the working surface, than a platform. And now there is a lot of innovation that is coming up in kitchens. There is so much of difference in the way a kitchen looks, and there is so much difference in the way it is being designed. The kind of things, the kind of products that are coming in for kitchens are much different right now. Let's talk about tiffin boxes now. How many of you are able to fit one entire roll of chapati in your tiffin box without the ends folding, or without you cutting it in between? You cut it, now you can keep it next to each other and you can take it. But how many of you are able to fit an entire chapati roll with the ends not folding? It's not possible, because there has not been any research which has been done on tiffin boxes. There are different kinds of tiffin boxes which are coming up every single day, but then there are specific problems, or there are specific opportunities in tiffin boxes, which is very simple. Tiffin boxes is something that we all use. You all take it to your college as well. Most of you do. But there are certain problems which are faced by certain kind of people. When I say problems, a problem that you face may not be a problem that I face. So let us call it opportunity. There is an opportunity for one kind of people. So now I say that it is not problem solving, but it is opportunity finding. When there is a problem, you see an opportunity. When there is an opportunity, you try to innovate, you try to solve, or you try to find a solution, or put something at that opportunity, and try to make an innovative difference in that opportunity. Now, when I say what you see on the screen is basically when you have to come up with a product has to go through a rigorous, empathetic, and an iterative design process, and it'll end up having an innovative concept or an innovative design, which will at the end create an impact on a user. At the end of it, whenever you're making a product or you're making an innovative concept or a design, at the end of it, it has to create a user experience. It has to create a user impact, right? So what happens is, it's innovating on a product through its design. It requires an immense amount of taste, your empathy, your creativity, and variety of inputs and perspectives. The design of a product is everything that the user interacts with, right? You have a laptop in front of you, you have a phone in front of you. All these things are something that you're interacting with. You're using it. So the way you use it, even the QWERTY keypad that was made, before, your keypad could have just been A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, right? It could have just been in the same alphabetical order. But why was it a QWERTY keypad? Because it was done keeping the human mind in, I mean, human mindset in the brain before, you know, trying to innovate on a keypad like that. Because when you use your fingers, when you type, um, that is how a QWERTY keypad was made, based on how important letters are placed. Like, for example, A, and you know, A is a letter that you use most of the time. Space is the space tab that you have, the space key that you have, it is much wider. Why? Because you use it more. So that is one of the examples that we have. Whereas, let's talk about the key elements. When you talk about key elements, one is, it is people centered. Like I said, it is human centered, and it is a highly creative process. And when I say it's a highly creative process, you just need to be able to think wider, think broader, and be able to look beyond. If there is a pen, you don't just see a pen, you look beyond it. You look for the functions of it. You look for what it can do, what impact it can create, how you can, through your product, how you can create an impact. One more thing is, it's hands-on. When you say design thinking is not just you sitting back thinking and brainstorming. It is all hands-on. You need to have a hands-on experience. Try and you fail, you try and you fail, but hands-on means you're at least working on something. Something is you know, being prototyped, right? And it is an iterative process. When you say it's an iterative process, it just means that you're going back in a loop until you reach the final stage where you say, okay, fine, now I have come up with a proper product. Now this product is what I'm going to offer to my customers. Actually, if you see, even today, the companies which have been established, they're still on the iterative process. They have already offered things, but they're going on iterative. The best example I would like to give here is something that you all know. Talk about Swiggy. Swiggy, first they offered just food delivery. Then they offered something called as takeaways, where you know, if you're on the way going from, say, Yelahanka to, say, you're coming to Rajaji Nagar, on the way you have a hotel. Now you just want to stop at the hotel, collect your food and leave. So now if you want to do that, they offered something called as takeaways. So takeaway was one of the iterative process that Swiggy had. And after that, they realized that it was not working. Now that option is itself not there on Swiggy. All these are trial and error basis. All this is an iterative process that keeps happening. It's a loop. They learn and they incorporate. They learn and incorporate. And it is a process that goes on. So where design thinking helps? Design thinking majorly helps in innovation. It helps to differentiate from competitors. It helps to increase your customer satisfaction, and it helps you to stand out in a crowd. When I say it helps you to differentiate from a competitor and increase customer satisfaction, I have an example here for all of you. Can you see my screen? So this is at the end of 2018. A brother of mine had gotten this report, and this is a customer experience design that was generated by Swiggy to retain their customers. This is where your customer satisfaction, this is where they can differentiate from their competitors. You don't get something similar like this from Zomato, but this is something that that was given by Swiggy. So I'll just read it out for you, and very quickly. It says your performance for a financial year 2018-19 was evaluated and considered for this year's appraisal. You have been assessed based on overall performance in 5 key responsibility areas: your appetite success, how many lunch you order, what was your efficient work hours, as in when did you order most of the time, usually for lunch, your willingness to experience, as in how many cuisines have you tasted, how many restaurants have you tried, how much money have you saved. They don't tell you how much money you have spent. They tell you how much money you have saved. Because for any human being, he wants to know how much money he has saved. At the end of the year, we all sit and think, oh, I spent so much money this year. Instead of that, if someone is trying to tell you, hey, you know what, you've saved this much money, it is again human-centered approach, right? Because they're trying to create a positive impact on your brain. So now it says, after taking your performance into account, we would like to formally promote you to VP Gastronomy. Congratulations on your new role. So now, you know, this whole thing that they have sent via an email just makes me feel good. Now I know that I have tried so many cuisines. Now, if I'm a foodie, then I want to know how many cuisines I've tried. I want to know how much money I have saved. It just makes me feel good. And if you are a regular user of these platforms, then it just makes you want to stay on their platform and be loyal to them. So this is how your customer loyalty and your customer satisfaction increases. These are like little things that the company does. And even every single day when you just open your phone or something, you just see a lot of these messages that keep coming from Uber, that keeps coming from Swiggy. So, you know, one of the message from Uber, it says, no mask, no ride. Face covers or masks are required for everyone, and we drive you safe. So, you know, they're giving you an assurance that, you know, we are going to take you around very safely. You trust us, and we will take care of you while we ride you around Bangalore from one place to another, right? So these are little things where human-centered approach is used to create an impact on the human who is a user at the end of the day. Now, going back, let's talk about the changing scenarios. So the changing scenarios in business. What all do you think are the changing scenarios in business? The first thing is Bluetooth connectivity. Then there is manufacturing technology and online retail. All these things are producing newer products and newer services. Before, like you can just think of before COVID itself. Before COVID, we never even thought of, you know, Zoom classes. Today, we are using Zoom every day for classes. These are technologies, these are, you know, online retail or online, you know, services that we are using on a day-to-day basis. And it has become so important and it has become a part of our lives, right? So next thing is software or AI generated solutions of constructions, forms, and including requisite analysis. So when I say requisite analysis, it just means that people are coming up with various different technologies and different machines to fasten the process of construction. Today, okay, let's just see a very simple example here. Now there is white topping of roads that is happening. Although it is a slow process, before it was all about, you know, they would put the tar, but now there's a huge machine which is going to lay out these white topping bricks kind of things. I don't know what exactly it is, but yeah, the cement tiles kind of thing that is just laid over on the roads, and it is quite quick compared to the other one, and also it is more durable. So the next thing is another changing scenario is the 3D. So now, you know, everywhere there is 3D structure, there is 3D modeling that is happening. So this 3D is going to play an important role in including structures of human tissues and body parts, generating demands and possibilities of different kinds of products, systems, processes, and services. So when I say this, what I mean is, so for example, now someone has broken their leg. Now you have broken your leg and you've gone to take an X-ray. Now when they take an X-ray, they ask you to keep your leg in a certain way, and your leg is kept like this, it is kept in a different angle, so 3 different angles, and then they, you know, the X-ray is taken and they study the X-ray. How about there is a product for this where the X-ray is 3D. It generates a 3D image where the doctor is just able to scroll through it and tell this is where the problem is. Instead of you, keeping an X-ray report and all that, this is a 3D image which helps him to diagnose what the problem is, right? So that is a new possibility. Another one is maintenance and service support and DIY is opening up huge possibilities. When I say maintenance and service support, Urban Clap. Urban Clap is giving you all kinds of service. You want any kind of service. You want a beautician at home, you want a plumber, you want an electrician, you want a lawyer, you want any kind of service. You can just log on to Urban Clap and then you can get any service that you want. You can just book whatever time you want them to come and they'll be there at your doorstep. And this is something that has been going on in the trend right now. Talk about DIYs. You open your Facebook, for everything there is a DIY now. It's not that, okay, my recent experience is that I don't have an OTG at home to bake a cake, but now there is a DIY available online where without having a baking oven, you can still bake a cake. These are all DIYs. DIYs are opening up new possibilities. Make your own things. You order, now you want a new cupboard at home. On Amazon, there is something called as build your own cupboard, where they just send you a long, like all these steel rods kind of things, which is with a manual which says how you can arrange these steel rods so that your cupboard is built. So you just order it, it comes I think within 3 days. Now you can assemble it on your own, and this can be dismantled and taken from one place to the other. Now that is very convenient, right? Instead of having to get a wooden cupboard and later having the trouble of shifting from one place to the other, now you have DIYs. So these are opening up huge possibilities. Then development of material and their application in textiles and in clothing. Now you talk about clothing, I think most of you would have seen on Instagram and Facebook the colors of a cloth. For one person, the cloth color looks in a certain way. For another person, the cloth color looks in another way. And the clothes are also like being, there is a lot of innovation that is happening. Now glow in the dark clothes are coming. A lot of these innovations are happening even in the space of textiles as well. Also, they are yielding high opportunities for designing platforms for communicating the experiential design of prospective customers. Like for example, recently I saw this where on a website you can place your face and you can choose your body structure, and you can, whatever clothes you choose, it will put it'll just put the clothes on that body structure that you have chosen, and it will show you how this cloth is going to look on you. So this is an experience that I want, right? Instead of me going to a store, especially during the times of COVID, now I cannot go to a mall and buy clothes. I can't go around to individual stores and buy clothes because I'm scared. What if I contract the disease? Instead, if there is a website which is going to give me the experience of just virtually trying out clothes, then why not, right? So these are things which are opening up new possibilities. Another huge possibility is converting accumulated knowledge for creation of new market. When I say converting of accumulated knowledge as in people already have knowledge about things. We already know a lot of things. I'm sure you all also know things that I may not know. I know a lot of things that you may not know. It is basically knowledge, accumulated knowledge that we have. But these accumulated knowledge can lead to different markets. It can lead to new markets. It can lead to new innovations. So how so in the current trend, there is, everybody wants to come up with a startup. Everybody wants to solve a certain problem. Everybody wants to do something new for the society. So all these things are the new possibilities that we can see around us. The next thing over here is that, the next thing is, this is the last thing that I have for all of you. Before, it was all about intuition and creativity. When I say intuition and creativity, as in people thought, when someone made fire, what did he do? He just put two stones together, and then he created fire. There was a spark, and then fire was generated. So it was creativity, it was intuition, and he said, okay, so this is how fire has come. So next, in the emerging market, it is all about strategy and creativity, as in, what strategy am I going to use to enter the market? Who are the people I'm going to target? Why do I want to target these people? Talk about two brands that we have. There is something called as Smart Water, and there is Bisleri. Bisleri is something that can be afforded by anybody. You go around and then anybody can buy Bisleri because it is available at a price of just 10 rupees, or the bigger bottles are available at say 20 rupees. But when you talk about Smart Water, Smart Water is also a company which is doing successfully in the market. But why is it this company is also successful? Their target market is a little, a higher middle class family kind of people who can afford a water bottle of which is 50 rupees. Both are same, both are just water bottles, but they just named it Smart Water, and now even they are also doing good. So this is where your strategy and creativity comes into picture. When you say a smart technology, a smart product, or smart water, there are people who catch hold of these things and they want to buy it, they want to try it. So these are two things that are happening around us. So that is how your previous and your emerging market is different. Another one is, before, back in the days, it was all based on your hand skills. Like I said, fire, it was based on your hand skill. But in the emerging market, it is all about technology, it is all about materials, as in what material, when it comes to textiles, or when it comes to say construction of buildings or anything, all that is about material. But when you talk about different products, or like different things or different services, it is all about technology, how technology is playing a major role in the emerging market. Back in the days, it was all about engineering technology. Today it is about manufacturing technology driven, right? How you're going to create a product where even technology is incorporated into it, right? Again, back in the days, it was like what we want to offer, right? Like I said, I want to offer something new, I want to offer a new product and all that. Today, it is all based on what customers want from us. Now we think of the customer, we always put a customer in front, and then we say, okay, the customer is going through a certain problem, let me do something to solve this problem, right? It's always like customer is kept first, and that is your current trend, that is your current emerging market. This is where your human-centered approach will play a major role in coming up with new products. And that leads me to the end of the program today, my session. If you have any questions, please ask me. This is my contact details for all of you. Guys, do any of you have any questions? Okay, I'm assuming that there are no questions, and I will request Vinay sir to come in now. Sir, are you there? Guys, before we end the session, I would quickly like to ask you all to open the chat box on your phones or on your laptops and quickly type in the chat box how was the session for all of you.
Vindeshri ma'am, sorry, I mean another Vindeshri ma'am.
Yes, sir.
Now you can ask me that.
Yeah, no, nothing, sir. Actually, I'm done with the session. So
Okay.
I have just asked everyone to, on the chat box to just type out how the session was for them. And after that, you can end the sessions.
Yes, madam. Yes, madam. We can go for one-to-one questions.
Yeah, I have asked.
Questions?
Yeah,
Yes.
I did open the session for questions. There was no questions from anyone. So
Yes,
that's why I've asked everyone to just, type out what they felt about the session.
okay. Yes.
Yeah.
Hi, Vidya.
Hello.
Hello.
Yes.
Yeah, I just need to have a little bit more information regarding DIY. Just you have to if you just try to call for DIY, we will get everything to the doorstep. So what exactly that DIY and just I need little bit more information regarding that.
So DIYs are basically do your own products, right? Like for example, you want to have a pot at home, even a broken glass is converted into, a small pot, and now they are able to, make grow plants in that. So when I say DIY, DIYs are mainly, just things that you can make from, waste products around your house, or it could be a company delivering DIY so that, like for example, I told you about this Amazon product where, you know, you want a cupboard, they just send you all these steel rods, and then they give you a manual and they tell you how you can assemble these. Mainly a DIY would be something similar to Lego products. Lego products, they give you all the toys, and they tell you how to build, and they give you a manual. The same thing is available for different kinds of products also. Now you want to build a car, now they give you all the products and everything, and you just feel good that, hey, I built a car myself using the products that were given to me. So these are things that are actually opening up new possibilities, especially in the space for children and homemakers.
Yeah, but the thing is, I just want to know, see, when we just try to try for those things, first
Yeah.
we check what the money, right? So is it reasonable to call them and ask them to come and do all those things and all? Like, is it compared to others? Is it reasonable?
No. I think, the we get DIY videos on Facebook and all. It is not calling anyone. When I said calling anyone, that is with respect to, Urban Club. When I say DIY are just products. Like for example, I have a
Yeah,
mouse.
now I got it. Now I got it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
It's really nice to have this session, and the whole content was really good.
Thank you. Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you. Yes.
Any queries you can ask, so it will be good for session.
Yeah, Rakshita, can you unmute yourself and just ask the question once again? I'm trying to understand what your question is. In the beginning of the session, you said that we are making products and making people need that. But what you said, we always think what customers want and then we build it.
Ma'am, in the beginning of the session, you said that we create a product and we make people to buy that.
Yeah.
Like you said, Alex, and you gave some more examples. But now at the end, you said that we are creating a product by keeping customers in our mind.
Yeah, what I meant was at the end of it, we are making things people want. So when we are making things people want, you are keeping customer in mind, right?
No, but Alexa was not in need for people. No, but you build it and then you created a need for it.
Yeah, so that is how you come up with innovative products. So that is what I'm telling. Before it was making people want things. That is, there is a very thin line of difference between the two statements. When you see the difference in the very first statement, I said you're going from making people want things to making things people want. That is, you made things, you were making people want things, but then now you're making things that people want, right? So at the end of it, when I said that we are going to make things keeping customers in mind, at the end of it, you are doing all of this keeping customer in mind, right? Even Alexa was done keeping customer in mind.
Okay, thanks.
Welcome. Any other questions? Ma'am, I think nowadays the innovation are based on customers' weakness. What do you think, ma'am? For example, the products like ready to eat products. Skanda, nice question, but over here, so Skanda has asked a question here saying, ma'am, I think nowadays the innovation are based on customers' weakness. What do you think, ma'am? For example, products like ready to eat products. So I wouldn't say weakness, Skanda, it is again an opportunity. Like how I said, it is all opportunity finding, right? So if you see that there are people who are not able to cook at home, that is a weakness when you just look at it. But at the same time, for another person who wants to create a business, it is an opportunity that he found. Now he feels, hey, anyway, they don't like to cook. No, let me come up with ready to eat products. And now, they are also doing good in the market. Now there are a lot of companies which have come up with ready to eat products. And I wouldn't call it weakness, but that is one way of looking at it. But I would say it is more of opportunity finding. They found an opportunity where there was an adversity.
Any other queries? Any other queries regarding the design thinking?
Sir, they're asking if there is any feedback link.
Yes, we will send the feedback link on the daily basis. So why? Because we have 5-day continuous lecture series. So we will send the feedback on the daily basis, and the registration form they already confirmed, and the link, all those things we will send on daily basis. So once the session get over, we will send it back.
Okay, then. If there are any other questions, then you may please ask me, or else we can end the session, I think.
Thanks, madam. Thank you, madam. On behalf of the Seshadripuram Institute of Management Studies, I would like to thank to you, ma'am, because of your precious time and consenting to be the guest speaker for the today's session. Ma'am, I indeed, you are the words have inspired our participant. I extended my sincere thanks to the director, Dr. Vatsalaji, and the faculty members of the Seshadripuram Institute of Management Studies. Last but not least, I thank all the participants for showing their interest in the today's session. I once again thanks everyone for making today's successful program. So tomorrow the sessions will start at 11 o'clock, and you will get the login ID with the password by evening. Thank you, ma'am, and thank you all for the participation.